the Bowels of Netflix, where your fearless co-hosts Isaac and Larry force each other to watch the worst pieces of shit on Netflix. We will go over every bad edit, all the broken dialogue, all the wooden acting, and laugh along the way, because this is the Bowels of Netflix! All right, welcome to the Bowels of Netflix. I'm Isaac, and with me, as always, are my six co-hosts, Larry, and Larry. How are you doing, Larry?
Dateline podcast news. A man on edge of building claims he's gonna jump. What a fucking shit! What a fucking shit! Marlon Wayans!
You got a little too much Wayans?
I didn't.
I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you're here.
Why? What compels you to keep doing this? Like, what in your childhood, like, what went wrong that you keep doing this to your dear friend, your lover in the nighttime?
I was molested by Santa Claus.
All right, well, I don't have anything for that. That's a deep, dark, secret pain you have to deal with, and I just wish you would stop taking it out on me by inflicting fucking Marlon Wayans on me.
Well, it's also why I hate Twizzlers.
I have many questions that'll never get answered.
Yes, you can sound with a Twizzler.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord. I didn't need that. Didn't need it. It's back. We're back. It's Wayanstown. It's fucking Wayanstown, USA.
The Bowels of Wayans.
I just wanted to stop. Why does he keep... I need to find his financial backers and sit them down and talk to them and ask them what went wrong with them.
I'm sure he's a wealthy individual.
Of course he is. Are you kidding? He's a fucking millionaire.
Yeah. He's got plenty of fans like you.
No. I have probably seen Marlon Wayans movies more than most of us, considering I watch all of these twice, and this is the third one in this fucking series.
So you might be wondering why Larry has watched so many Wayans movies, and that's because this is the Bowels of Netflix. We're a podcast.
And you're a piece of shit.
We're two miserable old friends who hate each other and want each other to suffer greatly. So every week we force one another to watch terrible movies and then describe them back in excruciating detail to the other person. This week Larry has drawn the Wayans straw, as I like to call it.
God. Is that what the Twizzler up your urethra?
Yeah, pretty much. That's
the
what
Wayans
Santa Claus
straw?
called it. I didn't know Santa Claus was black, honestly.
Hey, man, if Jesus is black, so is Santa Claus.
That is a good point.
We shouldn't be allowed to have a podcast. This is sad.
But yes, we exist on the internet. Facebook, Bowels of Netflix, whatever, podcasts, wherever they're sold. You can buy our podcast. I don't know. Feel free to email us.
I don't want your fucking money. I do this out of the love of the hate.
Just the hate.
The love of the hate, baby.
Oh, love of the hate. But you can email us at bowelsofnetflix@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts, feelings, impressions. Send us some nudes. Especially if you have a Twizzler in your dick hole, that'd be great.
I don't want to see that. Please don't send me that.
Please send it and address it to Larry specifically. But if you have any movie suggestions we could do, or just any thoughts in general, any experiences you might have had with these terrible movies, we would love to hear it and get some feedback. But anyway, Larry...
Does the Facebook group still exist?
Yeah, Facebook.
I think it does.
Facebook, yeah. Twitter. I think that's it.
Yeah,
we didn't get on TikTok yet. We're working on that.
I think that's all like an aggregate for the government to look into our lives.
Yeah.
I'm only halfway. I don't think it's the government. I think it's like Amazon, probably.
They're probably one and the same now.
Who cares? It's all ruined. The whole country's ruined.
Hey, you have an Alexa. You have an Alexa. Don't talk.
I have 3.
You're feeding them data on what it's like to be a deranged individual screaming into a microphone.
Well, okay. I mean, yeah. There's a lot of that.
How can Alex Jones be in 2 places at once?
All right, now hold on. Now there's a comparison I don't want.
Okay, you're not that deranged.
Yeah,
yet.
I mean, I don't think that the fucking government's making frogs gay.
Yeah, well, you're also much younger than him. Give it time.
My favorite thing about him is when he does like sells his bullshit products. He does like the before and after pictures. The before pictures just Alex Jones. He's like moderately in shape, I would say. And then the after pictures just the exact same thing, except he's like red as a beet. He's just he's a piece of shit. And I can't believe he hasn't been dragged into the street and crucified yet. It's mind-boggling. What are you doing, America?
Once the rapture happens, which is inevitable and imminent, he'll be crucified.
Sure. Oh, God, please.
Hopefully not martyrized, but we'll see.
Well, let's let the government continue to fester. Okay, fucking back to what's really important in life, and that's Marlon Wayans. There is no God. There is no man. There is only Marlon.
This is good to know.
So, fucking Sextuplets. Oh, God. This is the first review I've done in a long time. I'm behind on the curve. I gotta find the Rotten Tomatoes and everything. Vamp while I fill time.
Well, at least you remember it's the bowels of Netflix, so...
Yeah, I'm doing better than you. I listened to that episode from last week, and I was in tears at our own jokes, just listening to you old man try and figure out what the fucking show we do is.
I work at a tech company now. I don't know how that happened.
It's really incredible. So, on Rotten Tomatoes, Sextuplets has... the tomato meter is sitting at a solid 14%.
Ooh.
Which is the critic score. The audience score gives it a 36%, which is still a little bit too high.
Yeah.
But, I guess it's still lower than half, which is the important part.
And there's a lot of diehard Wayans fans.
Probably. There are. Those people exist. Like, a friend of mine who doesn't live around here anymore, he has, even though he recognizes that Marlon Wayans isn't good, he has, this weird fondness for him, which we'll get into it. I can kind of understand. We'll get there. On IMDb, this movie has a 4.4, which I think we found usually... That's pretty low for IMDb. Usually they tend to skew high.
Yes.
Like in the 5s and 6s, so 4.4 is fairly low.
Yeah, once you get below a 5, then you're in stinker territory.
And this movie is, of course, for those of you who may remember my glowing review of Naked, the director of that movie was a man by the name of Michael Titties. And once again, we are motorboating Mr. Titties as this is another Wayans Titties production.
Back on the titty train.
Back on the titty train. I don't know who's to blame, because it was Wayans and two other people, I don't remember, I didn't care, were the people who wrote this. And Titties is the one who directed it, but I think it was the same two other people who also wrote Naked. Okay. So just a fucking bad sign.
Well, and this and Naked were both Netflix originals, so one can assume there's probably a multi-deal Netflix thing, or multi-movie deal Netflix.
I'm sure there's going to be more, and I'm sure I'll be fucking watching them.
Exactly.
Well, as you may recall, too, Naked was a remake of a Swedish knockoff of Groundhog Day.
Oh, right.
So, I don't think this is I don't know. Is this a knockoff of... So, before we get into the actual review itself, let's talk about movies where actors play multiple roles. Yes. So, because of my age and what I grew up with, the first thing that comes to mind for a comedy movie like this is Dr. Dolittle with Eddie Murphy.
He plays multiple roles in Dr. Dolittle?
I can see. I know you're telling me because the look in your face is. Not Dr.
Nutty
Dolittle.
Professor, right?
Nutty Professor. Thank you.
Yes.
I got the professor and doctor part mixed up. You're right. Okay.
You can see why I was really confused.
I thought you were trying to catch me in some kind of trap. No, yes, Nutty Professor. He plays, I think, every role.
I think it's like this, where he plays multiple roles in the same family.
Yeah, well, he plays both the fat version and the skinny version of himself, and then, all his family members.
Like the dinner party or whatever.
Yeah. So, but those parts are a little smaller. There's a lot of Marlon Wayans in this fucking movie. So, that is the only thing, that's the first thing I think of when I think of this format.
I'm sure this was influenced by it. It probably wouldn't call it a remake in any way, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's definitely not a remake. They're totally separate concepts. Because I remember the
Nutty Professor was originally a Jerry Lewis movie, I think, right? I don't know if he played multiple roles, but yeah, back in the 60s or something.
I did not know that. That's the only thing. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me. Probably just because of my age. I don't know if there's any other prime examples that I just don't know about of a similar concept.
Austin Powers, Mike Myers plays multiple roles. They're not in the same family, really, though.
Well, that's true. He is the hero and the villain, isn't he?
Yeah,
I haven't
and then
seen one of those movies in a very long time.
In the later movies, he plays Fat Bastard and Goldmember, so I think he plays up to 4 roles in one movie.
Fuck, he is Goldmember. I always forget that.
God damn it.
I think I saw it when I was 12. What do you want from me?
More, Larry, more.
Don't I give you enough? So, yeah, Sextuplets, it's Marlon Wayans playing himself and himself and himself and himself and himself and himself. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. I mean, if you've listened to this show before, you know my feelings on Mr. Wayans. I'm not a fan, particularly. I don't. And I'm also not a fan of Mr. Titties. So, I'm in for a great time here.
That sounds like the nickname you'd give your dick if your girlfriend was really into titty fucking.
What woman is really into titty fucking?
Desperate ones, I guess.
I just not even... I'm going to talk about Marlon, okay? Because that's something I know. You are just some kind of villain. So, yeah, Sextuplets, it's a Netflix original. Nothing really more to say. It sucks. So, yeah, anyway, end review. So the movie opens, it jumps right into it. There's not even any, opening fucking nonsense crawls or anything. It opens with Say Hey, I Love You, which I think opens up every kitschy family movie since I want to say The Dawn of Time.
Probably,
which, if you're not familiar, it's... Are you familiar with that song?
Yeah. I liked it a lot when it came out, and then it got overplayed.
I've never liked it.
Oh, okay.
So if you're not familiar with Say Hey, I Love You, ask whatever smart device is closest to you to play it, and you'll know it immediately, because I'm not going to sing it. So we open on our protagonist and his wife exiting a Lamaze class. Our protagonist is, of course, Wayans Prime, who goes by the name Alan. I'm going to keep calling him Wayans Prime. And you better keep your fucking Wayans straight, because otherwise this review is going to get your diddles in a muddle. And for those of you who aren't aware, Lamaze class it's like how you breathe when you squirt out a baby, right?
Yeah, or have given birth with dolphins or something.
Yeah, sure.
That's a thing.
We know. Yeah. Wait, what?
That's a thing. It's not Lamaze class, but some people believe you should give birth in a large pool with dolphins in it.
This country's going to hell. So Wayans Prime is talking to his wife, whose name is Marie, and we get some of the usual Marlon comedy here that I've come to expect from him. It's sort of like an updated version of family-friendly Eddie Murphy comedy to call back to Nutty Professor, basically. They're bantering back and forth about fucking and the baby, not at the same time, but it's like, hey, remember how we, made this baby? And then he's doing all the sex talk in the street in front of Lamaze class, and all the ladies walking by like, oh my, how saucy. I don't know where this movie takes place. We get the most stunted dialogue here to ever explain the basic plot details of a movie. For example, he says stuff like, man, ever since you were the first woman in your law firm to become the best lawyer in the state, things have been on easy street. It's like, that was not exact, but it was pretty close. The first 20 minutes of this movie are just completely full of him just saying plot details, which is so much like Naked. I'm already upset thinking about how similar this is.
It's referred to as the titty twister.
All right, it is from now on. Titty twister.
That's a good example of a failure of the storytelling, what's the word, protocol you should use, where show, don't tell.
Show, don't tell.
Don't ever tell a plot. Show it.
We had the same discussion in Naked.
Absolutely.
Because it's the same thing. Because the plot of that movie was like, Marlon Wayans is a bad fiance, ? Even though he's never shown to be one. Yeah, get used to me saying the same shit here, because that's the titty twister for you. Thank you for that, which I'm going to use for the rest of my life. We got to call it the titties twister so we can get the full...
okay, yes.
The titties twister with the D's. Because his name is fucking Michael Titties. I can't believe it. And my last name is Beard, for Christ's sake. So we get... So Wayans Prime is bitching about his job. I don't think it's ever explicitly stated where, but he works for the Hallmark greeting card company or an equivalent.
Okay.
We get a handful of shitty greeting card jokes back and forth, but they aren't funny, so I didn't bother to write them down. Wayans Prime is reminded by his wife to tell Boss Lady that Wayans Prime needs to take paternity leave. In the spirit of awkward explanation, we hear Wayans Prime say, quote, "Nothing's more important to me than my family, not even a partnership with the company I've been busting my ass for all these years." Because again, this is just how humans talk. Just just in case somebody's fucking listening, I just spew out plot details about my life. So this is the kind of marvelous dialogue we can come to expect. By the way, did I mention this is also directed by Michael Titties?
I think
did
you
I mention that?
Yes.
Okay. So the Titty Twister. Yeah, we went over that. Isaac has a storage container with 5 captured children in it. He makes them roll his cigars, which he sells at at-risk youth in the community. So Wayans Prime goes to work, and we see him talking with Boss Lady. Boss Lady is super flirty and offers him a drink, even though it's like, I don't know, 1 p.m. on a work day. Wayans Prime is trying to talk about his forthcoming baby, but Boss Lady keeps chiming in, reminding us that babies are yucky and she doesn't like them. And she seriously makes, like, yucky noises. Like, you're having a baby. Ugh.
Jesus.
Not a joke.
What a character.
Yeah,
it's dynamic.
She's really well written.
Interesting.
She will fuck one of the Wayans sextuplets. I'm going to describe them all as we go through the movie, and I want you to guess which one what Boss Lady's going to fuck.
Okay.
This is totally impromptu game. I don't actually... This might...
There's no prize?
Burn, but whatever.
It's not a bag of Twizzlers in it for me?
There's no... You can pull them out of your dick hole one at a time. Like a Pez dispenser. Oh, God. So Boss Lady berates Wayans Prime for how he used to take charge and dress the part and was literally becoming the face of the company. To illustrate that point, she picks up a nearby magazine and holds it up in front of him, which has Wayans Prime face on it. The magazine is Greeting Card Associate Magazine, by the way.
That's real.
This is an awful joke, but I actually kind of like the idea that the world is so focused around Marlon Wayans that there's a magazine in this world for enthusiasts of corporate greeting card company employees. So, while Boss Lady is berating Wayans Prime, she's giving him more flack about the past and what's happened to him, blah, blah, blah. And like I've already kind of bitched about, this is here where I'm getting to remember the naked thing where it's just the show, not tell, the titty twister. We've already been through all this. It's great. I don't have to fucking reiterate it. I can just throw that paragraph in the garbage. So yeah, Boss Lady berates him, scene ends. So we see that wife Prime, Marie, is getting an ultrasound. This baby is fucking ready to pop. She is 12 months pregnant. Not actually, but she is like literal days away from squirting this baby out into, I guess, a pool of fucking dolphins.
Is that the medical term? Squirting it out?
Is it not? I don't know. I don't have kids. I live alone because I made all the right choices, you fucking rubes. So, more awkward humor here about age and race, as well as incredibly stunted dialogue setting up these characters, refer to my previous rants. And then the doctor starts asking them about family history for diseases and whatnot. We learn that Wayans Prime was put up for adoption and has no idea anything about his family. So back home, Wayans Prime bitches about the doctor asking about his family history, claiming that despite his searching, the only thing he learned is that he is potentially related to Cleopatra and he's 1/23rd Irish. Because, believe it or not, that is a plot point.
That's not how
he's 1/23rd Irish.
Those numbers work. That's not possible.
I'm loving this new bit of yours in the last year. That's not how numbers work.
It's not. You can't be 1/23rd something. Well, I guess.
Why not?
Maybe you could.
It doesn't have to be even.
Yeah.
Probably.
But you'd have to have like 1/32nd Irish and then one other ridiculous fraction. I bet 1/23rd is impossible. I'm going to sit down and crunch the numbers because I'm a math guy. I can.
From melons to math. A success story.
When I say crunch the numbers, I mean like pull the number magnets off the fridge, put them in a Ziploc bag, and just drive my car over them.
Oh, God. So yeah, him being 1/23rd Irish is absolutely a plot point that will come back, and I am not kidding.
Oh, I hate it already.
Why? You tell me about it. Try watching it twice, you pile of shit. So Marie suggests that Wayans Prime asks her dad, who is a federal judge, to track down his family. Of course, because this is a Marlon Wayans movie, the wife's dad does not like Marlon. So Wayans Prime doesn't want to owe him any favors. Again, she's fucking naked all over again, because one of the big plots of that movie was his fiance's dad hated him, and was also the Allstate guy.
All right,
still trying to figure that out. So yeah, eventually wife Prime just berates Wayans Prime to ask her dad. So we have a party scene here with our token white friend. I'm not sure why he's in this fucking movie. He has like 2 scenes, but one of them prominently features in the trailer, so I feel the need to bring it up.
Well, Larry, white actors need jobs. You know this.
Well, hold on. If memory serves, he's the only white person in this entire movie to get a name. I'm not going to put it down here. And by the way, wait, what? Okay. There's pointless banter here about token white males mail order. Why did I write that? Token white males mail order bride.
How many tokens does it cost for a token white male to get a mail order bride?
1 token, baby.
Oh.
This mail order brides are super cheap.
Oh, Chuck E. Cheese is going bankrupt, I heard.
Oh, no.
Yeah, where am I going to get kids now?
Fucking pedophiles everywhere are in mourning, in fucking mourning black.
First Epstein, now this? Oh, my God.
Oh, don't, please, God. I'll start screaming about Michael Epstein. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to this country is that whole story. All right. So fucking token white male is played by Michael Ian Black.
Oh.
Who, very funny man. He has 2 scenes in the whole movie. He's the only white person to get a name. Don't understand. I just don't. It doesn't. There's this joke about his mail order bride who's like stealing the gifts, and then he shows up later on. Whatever.
I remember you really enjoying Michael Ian Black in the wonderful comedy Stella.
God. I do remember hating Stella, in fact.
We were roommates at the time. I remember showing that to you. I think it was not long after we became roommates. And just
pretty early on.
Like the questioning look in your eyes of like, what error have I made signing a lease with this man who would like a show like this? It haunts me.
I don't understand. I don't like it at all. I kind of feel like I should, but I just don't.
You probably shouldn't. I'm trash.
Okay. Well, I mean, so am I. Why do you think we like each other, you piece of shit?
My wife and I went outside to prove I actually am white trash. We went outside to do a fire last night, and we were going to cook weenies over the fire. And I came inside and was like, I could put them on like a plate and then bring the skewers out and everything. And then I was like, I have these disposable cups here. So I go out with 4 hot dogs in a red Solo cup.
There is a fucking mental.
Yeah, I am trash.
It's sensible. I can get behind that because you don't have to wash the plate. You got a cup to throw away.
Yeah, I'm trash.
We're all trash. Who cares? All right, so Michael Ian Black makes like 2 white people jokes that aren't funny, but that's the joke. Is that
white people?
He's the only white person in a movie full of black people, so he's here to make things white person awkward, which we're all very good at.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, that's it. We get an extended scene here with the father-in-law Prime. I don't see the need to go into detail. It's just the movie is fucking called Sextuplets. The star of the movie is Marlon, and Marlon. That's it. This is all bullshit. It's all bullshit. I don't know why there's anything else but just Marlon Wayans.
Is father-in-law
I
Prime
said I wasn't
Jake
going to
from
get
State
upset,
Farm?
but I'm getting upset. What?
Is father-in-law Prime Jake from State Farm?
No, he's just a guy. I don't know. Who
Flo from Progressive?
It's Flo. You're right. It's Flo in blackface.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're fucking making me deal with all these meaningless tertiary characters. So blah blah blah. Father Judge-in-Law is stern. He makes Marlon Wayans Prime ask for a favor, and then he has the birth certificate within an hour. So this is all sprinkled with more talk of, Marlon's not ready to be a father because he doesn't have a family. Just stop it. Stop it, titties. Stop it. God damn it, I hate these movies. I really did not think I was going to get upset, but I'm getting actually upset.
You very much are. Your brow is furrowing more and more as you progress.
I really genuinely thought, without spoiling too much, I wasn't really that perturbed as I usually am by fucking Marlon Wayans, but I didn't think it would be this bad, but I think it's going to be bad. I think when I'm thinking about this movie, I'm getting upset.
Good.
So Marlon Wayans, he has no family, and because of that, nobody likes him, I guess, whatever. So, yeah, again, let's just listen to the fucking Naked Review. It's the same goddamn movie, and I'll be yelling just as much, if not more. So, in another Wayans movie stereotype, his beautiful, patient significant other is trying to be a self-realized and self-actualized person, but she's fucking chained to Marlon Wayans, who is only absorbed with his own fucking shit. So she's talking about the baby and their shower gifts, but all he can focus about is bitching about how quickly her dad got the paternity paper, not paternity, the birth certificate, and how afraid he is to open it. So she has to drag herself out of her own life to pull her shitty husband out of the muck and become a real person, just like every Marlon Wayans movie.
Good job, Marlon.
So she coerces him into it, and through a fucking haze of shtick, we learn his mother's name and address. It's just 5 minutes of nonstop nonsense. Fast forwarding here, Wayans Prime has more back and forth before deciding to set off on an adventure to meet his mother, whose address he now has. His only parameter that Marie gives him is be home before she squirts out the baby. So in the car on the way to his mom's house, he tries to figure out what to call her when he greets her at the door. He's like doing the, hi, my name is, it's nice to meet you. Like, should I shake her hand? And while he's doing that, he calls himself 38 years old. Marlon Wayans is 47. Cute, Mar. Cute. So Wayans Prime gets to the house. The house is just a dingy old pile of shit. It's like clearly a relic of the 80s and has never been updated. The interior is totally out of touch. It looks like the set of All in the Family. Not actually like the set of All in the Family, but it's like the same sort of aesthetic.
Just without an explanation, or like a movie just filmed in the Seinfeld set.
That would be odd. I want to do that. Like if I had money and power, I would just do things just to fuck with people to make them think like, is that fucking Seinfeld? I would hire like famous actors to be extras, just like. Just whatever movie it is, just suddenly like in the back of the coffee shop, there's Brad Pitt just drinking a coffee, having a scone. It's like typing out a novel he'll never finish and never send anywhere, and he'll just sit on. Wonder what kind of idiot would do that. Don't know any. Oh, that Red Bull tastes good in my fucking throat. Okay, so he has some. So Wayans Prime gets to the house. This show's a fucking nightmare. I don't know why I agreed to do this again. He gets to the house. He has some banter at the door back and forth with an unseen person inside who sounds suspiciously also like Marlon Wayans. Wonder why that could be.
Oh no.
And the voice behind the door tells Prime that he is waiting for an episode of Mork and Mindy to be delivered. Kids, for those of you that don't know, Mork and Mindy is a show from the late 70s that launched Robin Williams' career, where he played an alien named Mork, who was from the planet Ork. Mork from Mork. So Wayans Prime wants to know if his mom is there, but the voice says no. Wayans points out her name is on the mailbox and mentions that she's his mother. The voice says mom has only one son, and his name is Russell. He opens the door to reveal himself, and it's Marlon Wayans Fat Edition. So, Fat Wayans is Marlon Wayans with a more receding hairline. He's a gigantic, large man. He is wearing what I'm going to call a velour brown tracksuit.
Ooh.
So, like, imagine like a 1980s couch. Just wrap that around a fat guy with Marlon Wayans' face. And there you go. You got
So, my
Russell,
future.
Yes. Isaac's and my future. Who am I kidding? So the two of them compare notes and realize that they're brothers. Not only that, they realize that they're twins. And so begins the running joke of every one of these sextuplets saying how much they resemble Marlon Prime, even though, of course, they're all going to be hideous, and he is a relatively attractive, above average attractive man. So that just keeps going. I just get to... It's really great. It's after you fucking walk up to a horse, you blow its head off with a shotgun. It's when you pull out a stick and just keep beating the dead horse. You just keep beating it. I wish someone would have an expression for beating some kind of dead horse to be, I just don't think someone would have thought of that by now.
What kind of shotgun do you use to blow off the head of a horse?
Elephant shotgun. I don't know, man. I've never killed a horse, okay? I picked a weapon in the dark that I thought would do the job.
Do you know how big a horse's head is? You need like a bazooka.
Yes, they're terrifying it. A bazooka.
You would, to blow its head off?
I am on record in this show saying that I'm terrified of horses. And I think humans should be more terrified of horses, okay?
They're docile.
They're scary creatures. They're massive. They smell. They're muscly. They terrify me.
We're going horse riding.
I don't know how to kill one. I hope I never have to find out. Hopefully that apocalypse doesn't come to pass. There's running joke. All the sextuplets look alike. They look like Marlon Prime. Marlon Prime, by the way, he just looks like Marlon Wayans. Look up a picture of Marlon Wayans. It's Wayans Prime. We get a tour of the shitty house. We learn more about Fat Wayans. He has precisely 2 bits. The most recurring of these bits is that he has a deep and abiding love for cereal. It's pretty much it.
Okay.
It's pretty much just that joke. Just over and over and over. Just he loves cereal. So, I don't know if Fat Wayans is supposed to be a weird nerd or mentally handicapped. And it's incredibly uncomfortable the whole movie. Because he's presented as both.
Ooh.
Because the way he talks would be a way that if someone was making a horrible pastiche of a person with mental handicap, they might talk. So it's very difficult to understand what they were going for. One of those is just whatever, and the other one is not good.
I have a prediction. Wayne's Prime is going to shoot Fat Wayans in the back of the head near a cool pool of water to keep from Curly's gang ripping him to pieces.
Very close. Very close.
Awesome.
It's amazing how close. So yeah, I don't know, but his 2 bits are he likes cereal and he's like a weird nerd that I'm going to go with it. He's just a nerd and just make
One would
all this
hope
easy.
if it's not like
I don't
Simple
think
Jack
Marlon
from
Wayans
fucking
is an
Tropic
idiot.
Thunder.
Yeah, I don't think he's an idiot for all my bitching about him, so I don't think that was the presentation. I think it was done, and maybe this is just revealing that I'm a bad person, which I accept. I don't like it, but I accept it. But I think it's like the line is there that with the presentation that it is like, I felt uncomfortable, so I don't know. But I'm just going to go off the fact that he's just a weird nerd. Yeah, so the cereal and the fact that he's this weird nerd who watches old television shows. Like Mork and Mindy from the 70s.
That was a spinoff of Happy Days, wasn't it?
It was a spinoff. Thank you. I wanted to... That's something else to talk about later. Yes. Mork and Mindy, which is a show about Robin Williams as an alien from the planet Ork, is a spinoff of Happy Days, which is a show about... what was the name of the actor? Who's the actor who played Fonzie?
Henry Winkler.
Thank you. Henry Winkler. Which is a show about Henry Winkler just fucking everybody he sees. And if you tell me that's not the premise of that show, I will call you a liar.
It's definitely the premise, and I wouldn't want to watch anything else.
Pretty much, yeah. It's not a great show, and it does not hold up well. But yeah, so Mork and Mindy was the show that popped off Robin Williams' career. So let that sink in. Okay. So there's all this stuff with the cereal. I couldn't figure out if it was a sponsorship deal. I actually ended up down a 25-minute rabbit hole looking at about like the 6 companies that rule the world. Because I was trying to figure out if they were all owned, if it was just one company, so they don't care. Because it's like, he's eating like, it's just, they just grabbed like an eclectic mix of shit down the cereal aisle. There's like Post, General Mills, all kinds of stuff. So I was trying to figure out if those were all one company.
It's actual cereal brands? It's not like Wayne's or whatever?
No, it's not Wayne's. It's like Captain Crunch and Golden Grams and there's a Lucky Charms
kind of sponsor
scene.
Deal.
It must have been, but they had got all of them. It's weird because there's no consistency in brand.
Huh.
That's where I get hung up on it. That it's like, because it would make sense if it was all, all General Mills and you get a fucking General Mills sponsorship. They give you God knows how many fucking millions of dollars those bastards have.
Maybe Titties was just looking for some free cereal.
Considering how much cereal Marlon Wayans eats on screen. Did I call him Marlon's Wayans? Because I feel like I did, and I don't know if I'm having a stroke.
You smell toast.
Whenever we start to... I think I left the oven on, and it's so hot in here. Whenever we do Marlon's Way... Oh, God. Whenever we do Wayans movies, you are officially on stroke watch to make sure I don't have a live stroke. And if I do, for the fuck's sake, release it. That is fucking radio gold.
Absolutely.
Somebody
we'll
having a live stroke.
Ambulance.
Yeah, please. Oh, my God. So Prime asks Fat when Mom is coming back. Fat Wayans, obviously lying, tells Prime that their mom is dead, crushed under a car. And when I say obviously lying, this isn't just me extrapolating because I'm a fucking genius level intellect. It's just obviously lying. It's like not supposed to be a secret. But Wayans Prime is just too stupid to notice. It's like he's so caught up in the fact that his mom he didn't know existed is dead that he never questions the story. So his mother's obviously alive, and if she's got to be played by Marlon Wayans, this is when I figured it out, and I just got even more upset. It's just there's no way that there could be 6 goddamn Wayans siblings and the mother not be played by also him.
Oh,
so
right.
Obviously, that I figured out on my own.
So we have 7 Wayans.
7 Wayans.
Wow.
So, so she's dead. Mom's dead. Wayans Prime is crushed by the news. Not as crushed as his poor dead mother under a car. Prime is curious about the pictures and memories of his mother, and Fat Wayans is reluctant, but eventually relents. He offers Prime a tour and a sour ball, while sucking on the sour ball in the most Wayans-y fashion ever, and you can listen to any fucking episode with these goddamn family, I know what I'm talking about, I'm not doing it again. Prime breaks a tooth as it gets stuck in the sour ball, which falls into a vent. The tooth thing is a plot point, so don't forget it.
Oh my god.
And also, there's 2 things that like totally skeeve me to my core, and it's teeth stuff and eye stuff. So this is just getting to see close-ups of his fucking broken, obviously fake, broken tooth is just horrifying to me. I can't, I'd rather, oh god, it's the worst. So he's gone after his fucking tooth in the vent, like the vent it falls into, and he finds a box of further memories where a newspaper clipping reveals that they are, in fact, sextuplets. Because why wouldn't they be?
Of course it's sextuplets, too.
Yeah, I mean...
Do they bring that up as a joke?
No.
Okay. It's just implied.
It's not really any... It's not very fucking heavy. Thank God. So we cut to a hotel that night where Wayans Prime is on the phone with Marie. We learn the names of the other siblings besides Russell. We have Ethan, Jasper, and Dawn, which means that Wayans is going to be in drag. Great. And most mysteriously of all, Baby Pete, which, yes, is his legal name. While on the phone, wife Prime reminds him to be home in time for the baby. That is literally her only criteria for this quest. Wayans Prime also shows her his fucked up tooth, and because I haven't suffered enough for my sins, we get another close-up of his fucked up teeth, and I'm in hell. He mentions in jest that he's going to get a gold cap on the fucked up tooth, which wife Prime is, of course, very much against because he's an executive and she's a lawyer. This is a plot point. Please remember that for later. Wish I was kidding. There's an intruder in the hotel bathroom, and we find out it's Fat Wayans, who has decided to tag along to find the rest of the Wayans clan. Prime is reluctant, but gets guilted into it by Fat reminding him of the grief of their mother's passing, so Prime allows him to come with. Fat Wayans strips nude and slips into bed with Prime, as the hotel room only has one bed. We get this lovely back and forth, and we get to learn about Fat Wayans' night sweats, which is just something I never hoped I'd have to say, and yet here we are. It's a meaningless scene, but I really didn't need to think about another man's night sweat. Just didn't need that. Didn't need it. I have my own fucking sweat problems. It's 1 billion degrees in this house. My idiot roommate left the oven on, so...
You live alone, don't you, Larry?
Shut up. It was the dog. Once Fat Wayans redresses, they have a pillow fight to celebrate their brotherly bonds, and this leads to more nonsense physical comedy, which is straight out of Marlon Wayans' playbook. You might be wondering why I bothered with telling you about a series of pretty meaningless scenes, and by that I mean the whole review so far. Well, this is basically not a joke, where the review ends. Because the rest of the movie has no stakes. The rest of the movie... I could wrap it up in 3 sentences. I'm not kidding. The problem is because nothing matters, because the only stakes are he has to be home to get in time for the baby being born. But his life is like great. And there's not really any problems in it besides the fact that like he owes his stepfather a favor and his wife is like kind of gonna be mad at him, even though she's the one who encouraged him to do this, and every time she yells at him she admits that she's having baby hormones anyway and like doesn't really care. She's just mad because she's pregnant as fuck. So
there's no villain or like placeholder for a villain like Naked where it's the situation.
No, I mean the rest of his family are awful people, but that's like it.
They're not trying to sabotage him. They're just awful, and he happens to be.
Yeah, they just suck. Just like any other person's family, they suck. It's just,
Hi, Mom. You bitch.
So, like, it's kind of like there's nothing. Like that was the only scenes that mattered. The rest is just an hour. Like, because that's like maybe 25 minutes into the movie. The rest is just an hour of Marlon Wayans shtick. Like, that's it. I could stop. I could say 3 sentences and just, that'd be it. The movie be over. But
so Titties was laying down on the job.
Titties was spread eagle on the job, yes. Just bouncing hither and thither, not care in the world. So yeah, the whole movie is just a vehicle for Marlon Wayans to scream while himself in a different dressed up version smacks him around and makes him look like a fool. That's it.
How do they handle multiple Wayans on screen at once? Is it like you see one shot from the back and it's obviously a different actor? Well,
I'll give them credit. It's pretty seamless. I didn't notice any points where I was like, oh, that's not him, or that's a double. Like, they do it great. They do a great job.
Okay. Do they do the kind of thing where it's a split screen and you actually see Wayans' face at the same time?
Oh, yeah. It's perfect. It looks like, if I didn't know it was him, and there were points even where I was watching it, I was like, oh, right, that's also Marlon Wayans. It's because, like, yeah, it's cut perfectly. There's no problems with that at all, which is a testament to the technology, and they did a great job on that. Like,
yeah, I'm sure if you have a
really
Netflix budget, that's not hard to do these days. You can do that kind of thing in a home studio successfully.
Right. Joking aside, he's an incredibly wealthy man. I'm sure they could throw anything at this. So, yeah, I mean, like that's a good point. I didn't actually mention that. Yeah, there's no point that I mean, if you guys watch this, and you're damned if you do, damned the darkest of hells. You'll let me know, like, email in if you see a part that looks, you can kind of tell, because I couldn't. I didn't really look for it, but I couldn't tell. So yeah, that's it. The whole movie is just Marlon Wayans beating himself up. It's an hour of that, so.
Sounds erotic.
It's vaguely kind of is sometimes, actually, yeah.
Oh.
All right. So Wayans Prime and Fat Wayans have hit the road and are heading out to meet their sister Dawn. On the way, they banter about their mother and about TV shows. They both like different strokes, and more importantly to the plot, the Rockford Files. So for those of you who don't know, the Rockford Files... I actually... For once, I have to admit that I didn't know, because I'm pretty up on old shit, because even though I'm almost 30, I basically have the mind of a 75-year-old. So, but I don't know anything about the Rockford Files. So it's just a series from the 70s about this gruff private eye named Jim Rockford. And that's kind of all that matters. Like, the show itself isn't important, but it is to the characters. So it's just important as the plot point that, like, all the siblings like the Rockford Files. It's this weird obsession with the fucking Rockford Files. I don't know. But it features heavily, and I mean heavily, as a plot point in this movie. I wish I wouldn't have to keep saying that. I'm not joking, but I'm really not joking.
I don't believe you.
You should. So I gotta say, because they're singing in the car, and I kind of started looking some of these things up I didn't recognize. To use the parlance of our time, the theme song to the Rockford Files fucking slaps. It slaps, man. I love it. I listened to it like 7 times. It's great.
Oh shit! I'm about to check it out.
So Fat Wayans mentioned that he loves the Rockford Files so much that he owns and has memorized the original owner's manual to Rockford's car, a gold 76 Pontiac Firebird Esprit, which I only know because they said 4 times. That said, however, Fat Wayans does not know how to drive. So while they're on the road, as Wayans Prime is getting tired and they're in the middle of nowhere, he pulls into a field for them to sleep the night. I need to take a drink. I have been screaming far too much, and there's so much movie to go.
He's drinking gasoline, audience. I think he's ready to self-immolate.
Fuck yeah! I'm gonna swallow the match live, and it's gonna be, I don't know what a blazing inferno of a human sounds like, but we're gonna find out. All right. This is the worst part of this movie, the part that upset me the most, just on a bewilderment level. So morning comes. Now, these two are sleeping in Wayans Prime's car in the middle of a farmer's field, just to like pull off to sleep for the night, since the other idiot Fat Wayans can't drive. So Prime wakes up, and he finds that Fat Wayans isn't in the car. So he looks up over the hill, and running down the hill is Fat Wayans, who is pulling up his pants and buckling his belt. So I'm thinking, okay, he went off to take a shit. Fine, sure. But then as he's getting close, he's running at top fat speed to get into the car and not explaining to Wayans Prime what's going on. And then as there's a joke about Wayans Prime's shoes, and then a bull comes over the hill, the animal, a terrible CGI bull, by the way. For as good as the Wayans scenes were seamless, the CGI bull was a 2010 CGI bull, not a 2020 CGI bull. So he gets into Fat Wayans gets into the car and he locks it because he doesn't know how a fucking car works. And he Wayans Prime is what's going on? What's going on? And he says, I was trying. It was not an exact quote, but the quote is I was trying to get milk for my cereal, so I pulled on its teat, and then it got mad and started chasing me. Why were his pants down? Why was he rebuckling his pants? Was he trying to fuck the bull?
I would think so.
I swear to God, they wrote this scene, and in the middle of filming, they realized that, because they wrote the scene of, he was going to take a shit, or he was going to, I don't know what he was doing, but they, realized, well, fuck, we don't know why the bull is chasing him then. I swear to God, they got there, and everybody paused around the table and was like, wait a minute. We forgot something important. It never, Wayans Prime doesn't say, why were your pants down or anything like that. No one ever questions it, and I want to know why. And I'm very upset that it's not been addressed. When I kidnap Marlon Wayans and take him into the bunker, that's going to be my first question. So the brothers Wayans try to escape from this pretty rough-looking CGI bull who smashes up the car. Fat Wayans, like I said, doesn't understand modern car technology, which is supposed to be funny, I guess. They drive off with Fat Wayans behind the wheel. They smash through a barn comedically with cereal flying everywhere in the car. Of course. Because cereal. He's got boxes of cereal.
Oh, yeah. He's just bringing cereal everywhere?
We get a slow-mo scene of Prime screaming, which, of course, is just Marlon Wayans being Marlon Wayans. While in the slow-mo, Fat Wayans grabs a Lucky Charm out of midair with his tongue.
Oh, no.
Which is a scene they shot solely for the trailer. Because that scene and the Michael Ian Black scene are the ones that feature prominently in the trailer. I
love when you can tell which was the trailer.
I mean, there's no other point, because while he's eating this Lucky Charm out of the air, I get Marlon Wayans Wayans Prime. God damn it, I fucking hate you, Isaac. I hate you so much. Wayans Prime, looking over at him, what the fuck? It's just, it doesn't matter. Why were his pants down? Was he fucking the bull?
He was. He must have been.
I don't get it.
Love is love.
So they arrive at their sister Dawn's address. Would you like to guess Dawn's address, Isaac?
No.
It's prison. So Dawn comes out, and surprise, it's Marlon Wayans in woman face. So Lady Wayans is a voluptuous, large woman with long, I don't remember if it's a weave or dreads, I don't remember what her hair looks like, but Lady Wayans is just Marlon Wayans trying to be a stereotypical black woman, and I don't think he has any idea what he's doing, because basically the whole bit is her saying, oh hell no, and that's, I mean, he has more shtick after that, but he has to, that is his, it's very obvious that is his trigger to remind him, okay, now what do I say after I say oh hell no? Because he starts Lady Wayans starts almost every other sentence with oh hell no, and I know enough about comedians to know he has not got this character down, and that is his only way to get into character.
No, anytime I'm doing an accent, if I'm start losing a New York accent, I always have to go back to hey, and then immediately I'm all right, back in.
My cousin Oliver accent was always you know. Yeah, you always have to go into you know. So it's
gets you cooking.
It's pretty obvious that he does not have this Dawn character figured out yet, but I guess they just let him do it anyway.
So, Larry, you and Dawn are the last two people on Earth. How long to bone?
Yep. I don't think ever. I think she'd kill me.
Nah. I'd say 20 minutes.
I've been in quarantine a long time.
Hey, Lady Wayans is still a lady.
I've been in quarantine a long time. That's my answer.
You'd always fuck a cheesesteak, Larry.
What's that?
You could always fuck a cheesesteak.
Oh, it's better than a Twizzler. No one has fucked a cheesesteak, Isaac. Yes. No one. We've been arguing about this for how long we know each other? What, 13 years?
Well, I'm sure someone in those 13 years has fucked a cheesesteak, and not just me.
A cheesesteak. No one has fucked. Oh my god!
I'm going to do it and film it just so you have proof that someone did it.
In that scenario, I win because I have video of you fucking a sandwich. I don't. In what universe you win in that is your own fucking life.
I won't be winking at the camera. It'll be a close up of my nondescript penis.
Oh, I won't accept it without a face. That could be a CGI dick. Look how well it did Marlon Wayans. Look how well they gussied him up in 6-7 different outfits.
All right, we'll have to brainstorm.
Stunt cock. So we get a fairly long scene here where Lady Wayans stereotypes it up, for lack of a better term. Throughout the scene, Fat Wayans is attempting to get cereal from a vending machine because there's vending machines with cereal in the prison visitation room, I guess. And he's progressively getting his arm more and more stuck in it as he attempts to pull the cereal out.
Of course.
So Lady Wayans makes the joke about how similar she and Prime look, and she mentions how Prime looks like a crackhead that put down the crack pipe and picked up a weight, which I guess is the thing. I just don't... It's all stereotype and nothing else. Prime and Lady talk, and we learn that Lady Wayans is an exotic dancer, which she insists is not a stripper, gives us many different reasons about how the two are different, with various levels of stereotype and dancing. She's pissed that Prime didn't bring her any cigarettes, because that's what you do for people in prison, of course, as you well know. But Fat Wayans magically pulls a carton out of his ass and hands them to her. This is not a joke. He pulls them actually out of his ass.
One by one?
No, like a whole carton of imports. We don't see it. Like, he just pulls them out of his pants and then explains that they were in his ass. Pretty. So.
High humor.
I need to take a minute. And actually, I want to talk about Marlon Wayans, the actor, here.
The great talent.
I have seen enough of him that I've grown to respect him. You're going to start laughing, but I'm dead serious. I think he's terrible. I hate everything he's ever been in. But god damn it, will he do anything on camera? He will debase himself in any way for the audience's amusement. And after seeing this enough, it's like, yeah, you get props to you, Marlon Wayans. Because, I don't think his acting is good, and I hate it. But I think it's actually kind of good for what it is. He fills he's created a niche and stuck himself in it as it's like making your own religion. I know it sounds silly, but that's my first example that goes in my head. It's making a religion and making yourself the Pope. He's created this niche of physical comedy. I'll do anything for the laugh, where I throw myself into any role and any scene where I can get beat up or punched in the face or have a gigantic woman throw herself at me, even though it's me in drag and big fake pendulous titties. But he'll do anything. And there's 3 Marlon Wayans in this scene, and they're all acting so unique. This is where I forgot that, oh wait, they're all 3 are actually still Marlon Wayans. And I gotta begrudgingly mention that, he's not bad at that. It sucks, but he's good at it.
He knows his place and leans into it.
I even remember in Naked, I had to grudgingly admit that, he did some stuff that I could, give him props for, where, just he's very good at physical comedy in the way that he's, able to throw himself around and make silly faces and, just act really hard in a bad way, but that's kind of on purpose. So, you know what? I still hate him. I still hate his movies. But I respect him a little more after all this. I gotta give him credit there. Because it was there, when there's all 3 of him on screen at once, I was like, yeah, you know what? I can see why he was allowed to do this. I can see why somebody in a boardroom was like, yeah, all right. This can be a movie. So, you know what? Props to you, Marlon Wayans. Go fuck yourself. So Lady Wayans mentions that she needs $10K to get bailed out of jail and pitches a fit when he protests, because that's all she does is pitch fits. The ass cigarettes fall out of her jumpsuit, and the guards spring into action. And the ensuing chaos as everyone is escorted out and away, Fat Wayans shoves the cereal box that he finally gets up his ass to smuggle it away from the cops.
What? But he got it from the vending machine, didn't he?
Yes.
Why does he need to smuggle it away from the cops?
Well, they established this thing where he had cigarettes in his ass, and that his asshole is playing the role of Chekhov's gun in this scene. Okay. Where if you introduce the fact that he has an asshole large enough to shove a carton of cigarettes in, he has to then use that asshole to solve another problem.
Maybe he was trying to put the whole bull in his asshole so he could have milk whenever he wanted.
It was cum, though.
Well, yeah. Thick milk.
Please, next time you're making love with your wife, please, at the point of climax, ask her if she'd like some of your thick milk, and then report back to me on how it goes. Or just have her send me a picture of the divorce papers, either one.
Do you want me to just have her come downstairs and talk about last night?
No, that's all right. I don't want to have to. You'd have to unchain her from the radiator and pick her up by the wheelchair. And God,
yeah, her coming downstairs involves a lot of crawling.
Your poor wife is such a wonderful woman. I don't know why her character in the show is just. God, I'm so sorry.
Oh, she tries with her gnarled fingers to play the piano. She really does.
Just banging her.
Yeah.
Bing bong. Oh man, I'm so sorry, Kate. So outside of the jail, Prime is on the phone with Marie, who's his wife. She mentions that she's been using her law firm connections to track down one of the sextuplets, Jasper, who has been increasingly hard to find. Prime also mentions that he gave another one, Ethan, all of his contact info, but hasn't heard anything, which will be important for later. And he also paid the $10,000 to spring Lady Wayans from jail. So, yeah, because God forbid, I get one less fucking Wayans in a scene. So we get Prime saying here that he promises he'll be home in time for the birth, which is any day now. Marie mentions that the last breastfeeding class before the birth is tomorrow. So Prime mentions he'll drop off Lady and head straight home. Again, more of these consequences set up that are never going to really pay off as being that consequential in the long run. But, I mean, there's no movie otherwise. They have to invent a movie out of whole cloth now, because there isn't one. So Lady Wayans gets out of jail, and she goes and tackles him in sisterly affection, and of course it's just, him getting thrown around, because that's his whole comedy. We cut to a brand new sibling, Ethan. Ethan is, of course, portrayed by Marlon Wayans. Ethan is the epitome of a 1980s pimp.
Oh.
He has a shiny suit, wild, ridiculous hair, a do-rag, etc. His gimmick is that he has the closest resemblance to Wayans Prime outside of his demeanor. So we've done enough episodes of this show for it to be pretty fucking obvious that he's going to try and sneak into Wayans. I can't even... this show has ruined movies for me. I can't enjoy them. I can't let other people enjoy them. So, yeah, it's pretty obvious that he's going to sneak his way into Wayans Prime's life while the cat's away, the mice will play, basically.
Does he kill Wayans and Prime and take his place?
Oh, God, I wish. Oh, for something in this movie to happen. So anyway, he's shuffling down a crowded street in a bizarre, over-exaggerated pimp strut. We see him walk into Wayans Prime's place of work. If you'll recall, Prime said he left Ethan all the information on where to find him. So we see that Ethan, who is henceforth going to be known as Pimp Wayans,
of course,
has a gold tooth where Wayans Prime has a chipped tooth.
Ah.
If you recall, Wayans Prime threatened to get a gold cap on his broken tooth.
Oh, the plot
just thickens. More setting up of the,
like thick milk.
Yeah. Thick milk all over your face, Isaac. So, inside Prime's work, Pimp Wayans starts rifling through Wayans Prime's office. Token White Friend comes in, and we get an awkward and uncomfortable back and forth between the two. Token doesn't understand Pimp Wayans' manner of speech and whatnot, and is immediately bamboozled into thinking this ridiculous 1970s pastiche of pimpery is in fact his good friend and mild-mannered, white bread with nothing on it friend Wayans Prime.
Oh, that was a sentence.
It sure was. I can't believe the things this show has made me say. So Pimp Wayans goes right up to Token and gets in his face, sniffing him, asking him where the money at. He says Token smells like Republican money, but Token assures him that he is in fact a Bernie bro, a reference that will definitely hold up to the test of time.
Of course.
Pimp Wayans makes a Whole Food joke and then gets sent to see Boss Lady, trying to squeeze some money out of her in the form of an advance. Of course, this new and improved Wayans Prime, air quotes there, fits into Boss Lady's vision of him from the beginning of the movie, and they fuck. Token and Boss Lady are never seen again. Token is in the last scene, but he has no lines, so it doesn't really matter. So there you go. It was Pimp Wayans all along.
Well, there we
Mystery solved. Back to our heroes. Prime, Fat, and Lady stop at a gas station. Prime buys Fat some more cereal because that's Fat's only trait, lest you forget. And in the parking lot, Lady is trying to bang two white truckers in the back. It's pretty gross, and it's incredibly stereotypical, which I assume is by design, and okay, I guess. So Wayans Prime mentions that he finally got a hint about baby Pete, one of the siblings, who is in the hospital about to die. Prime still wants to go home and be with Maurice, and she's full to burst with growing Wayans spunk. Enjoy that description of what a baby is, America. Fat and Lady browbeat Prime into going to see baby Pete in the ensuing chaos of, let's face it, any version of Marlon Wayans being on fucking screen. One of the truckers gets their side mirror smashed up by Fat Wayans. A fight ensues. Lady Wayans, who of course never shuts up and says, oh hell no, about a million more fucking times, ends up winning this fight by scratching her nails against the ground like a wolf to sharpen her claws, and slashes up their face and beats the shit out of both of them, after they break Wayans Prime's nose.
Why?
You see what I mean when I said I don't need to do this review, right? There's just nothing. There's just nothing. We cut back to Pimp Wayans. He breaks into Prime's house as pimp-like as possible, another sentence I never thought I'd say. Through a long series of Marlon Wayans nonsense, he comes up with an ingenious plan to take over Prime's life by impersonating him, because of course he will. So he matches his looks to Wayans Prime and has a back and forth with Marie when she gets home. She, too, is immediately bamboozled by this. I'll grant that because it's actually Marlon Wayans in both roles. He is technically functionally identical. So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt that he at least definitely, it's not like he's just some other guy wearing a wig. It's Marlon Wayans. It's the same guy. So I'll give that a little bit. I'm just going to point out there is no situation on planet Earth where someone who is 100% identical in appearance to you would ever fool me into believing that they were some person. They were the person they were impersonating, excuse me.
Right.
So like, if somebody started to record this show with me, I would be able to, and who was just you in like, had a hologram of you over their face, I would be able to tell in, I'm going to say 25 seconds that it wasn't you.
Yeah, I was going to say, if my wife fucks my evil twin, or my good twin, depending on what the situation actually is, I will be upset.
But, I mean, you know, well, yeah, I don't have anything for the fucking. I just mostly had it. I was trying to keep it PG-13.
Why?
I don't know, fucking drink my thick milk.
You gotta stop just coming in glasses and drinking it.
Oh, God, that is the worst. Oh, God, I've seen that in porn, and it just makes me so upset.
Yeah, especially when it's a bunch of loads, like in a margarita glass.
It looks so gross. Like, come on, don't debase yourself like that.
Yeah.
You're already in porn.
That's what Jackass is for. Drinking horse cum on screen is fine, but drinking regular cum?
Yeah, no, it's gross and weird.
Like, getting cum in your mouth is fine, but drinking it? Like, if you don't take it directly from the udder, then...
Look, all right. Look, I want to take a step back. I don't want to yuck people's yum, but, like, I'm not into it.
Well, some people like pissing on feet, you know, and that's fine if they like it and it's all consensual and everything, but goddamn is that weird.
Yeah, I hate feet so much. God. Anyway, why we shouldn't have a podcast, Isaac. We shouldn't be allowed to
review porn.
Why? I am fine with that. Haven't I not pitched that to you already? I would absolutely do that.
Yeah, that should maybe be some bonus episodes.
Hell yeah!
We make each other watch ridiculous porn. Yeah, seriously. Maybe that'll be a special.
Oh, I just remember where the concept of the show is.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm so out.
Too late.
Fuck. Oh, God. All right. So, where the fuck? So, yeah. Pimp Wayans has impersonated Wayans Prime, and Pimp Wayans slips right into the hole left behind by Wayans Prime, etc. I don't know, cum joke. Back with Wayans Prime, he is at the hospital. A doctor tells him his broken nose is going to require surgery to fix, and encourages Prime to go visit Baby Pete first, and they'll grab him when there's a room available. So the Wayans gang goes to visit Baby Pete. Baby Pete is a shrunken, tiny man who's their age, because they're sextuplets, who is telling them all about how his insides are just, to use a medical term, all fucked up. He's all fucked up. So, his intestines are all, like, it's just a joke about how he's just sickly. And he is tiny. He's like, he's like a dwarf size. I don't know if that's supposed to be, I don't get the impression that he was supposed to be a dwarf, just the fact that he's like so sickly. I'm like gonna throw up. Just thinking about this movie.
So is it like Wayne's face CGI'd on a fucked up body?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it, again, like, this effect looks fine. Like, I don't know. It could be a real person's body. I have no idea. But like, it's just like a super, like, imagine a super skinny dwarf, and like the Marlon Wayans face and like kind of thinning, ridiculous hair.
Is Baby Pete going to take the new baby's place?
That would be plot. I've already established there is no plot.
Oh, I'm expecting too much. I'm sorry.
I'm glad we don't get to see a birth. I'm glad this movie did not end with Marlon Wayans sliding out of a woman's vagina as a baby, because I would quit the show. That would be the last episode of this show. Just
That's
so
the next
aware.
movie they're doing. Baby Wayans. Baby Geniuses 3, starring Marlon Wayans.
Oh, Lord. So, yeah, Baby Pete, I'm not sure what I get. I don't, is there a joke here? I don't understand. This does not seem inherently comedic. And I don't even mean in, like, trying to be evolved or woke or anything. It just, like, what's funny about this? Like, there's no, so the bit is that, he needs a kidney. And of course, because Wayans Prime is the butt of every joke, they're trying to convince him to donate a kidney. Like, I'm skipping ahead, but whatever. Right. But like, I don't get what's the point of this? Like, it's not fun. It's not even funny in a way that, like, it's not funny because it's offensive. It's just not funny because it's just not funny. It's like, it's not even, I'm not the one getting the joke. It's just like inherently not a funny bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, like...
There doesn't seem like there's a bit. It's just an excuse to make a sickly Wayans, I guess, right?
Yeah, like, that's the whole... Like, they used up one of their Wayans roles on this sickly character who has, like, 2 jokes about how, like, he has no kneecaps, even though he has kneecaps, of course, and, like, his intestines are all wrong, and he needs a kidney. I just don't... I don't know. This one was the weirdest one of all of these.
You know, grievous medical maladies are hilarious.
It's... Yeah, I really don't get it. I'm genuinely confused at what the laugh is supposed to be. So we get the interactions between Wayans, and I'm just in hell. I'm burning in hell. Fuck.
It's where you belong.
And of course, you get the joke again about how Wayans Prime looks just like Baby Wayans. So the whole point of this bit is that Baby Pete has told the doctors that Wayans Prime is here to donate a kidney, like I said. Prime protests and spends 5 minutes getting berated by all the siblings for being too shitty to donate a kidney.
Any explanation why they can't donate kidneys?
Yes. Fat Wayans is too fat, which is true. I was too fat to donate a kidney to my stepfather, and I'm not nearly as fat as Fat Wayans was. And no, it was my liver. I'm sorry, excuse me. But you can't be too fat to donate a kidney. That's a real thing. And Lady Wayans, who's also rather large, her bit was that she took a Molly yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not a doctor, but yeah.
Yep, I'm not. I don't know. So yeah, so they berate him about it, but he stands firm to his convictions and refuses. However, another doctor comes in to take Prime to get his nose fixed and has him sign a release form. Behind his back, Baby Wayans switches forms and hands Prime the kidney release form, which Prime, of course, signs without reading. Kids, if anyone hands you a contract, read the whole thing. And this is something I always do. I've not my whole life, but the last couple of years. If you want to see, and this is not a joke, this is not a bit. If you want to see a human being be the most anxious they can ever possibly be, it's when you are handed a contract, stand there and silently read it. Because first of all, it's very important, because who the fuck knows what's in those things? Second of all, nothing makes anyone more uncomfortable than you standing there reading a contract word for word, because there is a silence that stretches that is just, it sets off every panic in your brain. And you feel you must fill that silence with something. It is almost a 100% rate of working. It is it's the most sociological thing I've ever done in any human ever. It's whatever, like my lease, I stood there and read all 25 pages in that woman's office, and I watched her soul leave her body. Because I have every right to do that, because I'm about to give her thousands and thousands of dollars for the next year. And, you know, experiment aside and joking aside, just super important. You learn a lot from reading every contract you ever have to sign. It's great. But truly, there's no greater joy for me, who is just a plague on the human race that I am, than is just watching people get incredibly uncomfortable. Because it just feels wrong. Because you get a contract, you look over the first page, read the last paragraph, you sign it, right? Just like terms and conditions. Those who don't read, because I don't care. The government owns my identity already. Who gives a fuck? So, if I don't care, fucking Microsoft Office also owns me. What's the difference?
I will definitely agree that the power of silence is very important, and also reading contracts is very important. And unfortunately, an example is the fact that we are now sponsored by Thick Milk, and we have to play the following. I don't
know why I gave you power of attorney and the fucking power over me, resuscitating me for life and death, but I am learning to regret it every single day.
You should be. Can I unresuscitate you? Can I just smother you with a pillow? Am I legally allowed to do that?
I don't know, but if that power exists, I desperately want it over someone.
What if I swapped
Not that I would
your
ever
inhaler
use
with
it.
a sausage?
I just wouldn't notice, I guess. Inhalers are the original vape pens. So, anyway, dead serious about this contract thing. Always read everything, every contract you have to sign. You have to sign your name to something, read every word, because A, super important, not a joke, and B, you will make every other human being around you incredibly uncomfortable, and it's fascinating. It's fascinating because it's every single time. People cannot stand it. It's just the silence, that silence while you're reading something they handed you, because you're ostensibly looking for a loophole or looking to see if they're trying to get you to, like, show them your dick and get it in writing or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm being ridiculous, but seriously, It's amazing. It is amazing how people react to it. Anyway, so Wayans Prime doesn't read the fucking contract, and of course now he's got to give up a kidney. So we cut to the breastfeeding class. Pimp Wayans, who, as you recall, is disguised as Wayans Prime, keeps interrupting and making pimpy jokes and trying to take pictures of the other women in class and whatnot, because, you know, they all... Yeah, it's dumb and gross. And his antics get them kicked out. Thank God, to her credit, Marie immediately realizes that, oh, this is not my husband. This is some ridiculous 1970s pimp. So, at least we're not in complete fucking Calvin Ball territory here. So, I had a whole rant prepared for what I assumed was going to be her fucking him and then having that whole, you know. But anyway, we don't get that far. So he comes clean to Marie and reveals his whole plan to impersonate Prime and use his good, quote, white person credit, direct quote from the movie, to rob them blind. Anyway, they talk more, and Pimp Wayans reveals his sad origins from life on the street after being abandoned by their mother, as well as other sad bits about his life. Marie, fulfilling the trope of being a love interest far too good for Marlon Wayans, for any incarnation of Marlon Wayans, takes pity upon Pimp Wayans and agrees to let him hang out, basically, until Wayans Prime returns. Speaking of Wayans Prime, we cut back to the operating table. There's a series of slapstick here and shtick, and he learns about the transplant and tries to escape in comedy slapstick fashion before being accidentally stopped by Fat Wayans, suddenly opening a door with armloads of...
cereal.
Thank you. Thank you, Isaac, a.k.a. Toddy the Pig Boy. ladies and gentlemen, Isaac was for a long time known as Toddy the Pig Boy in high school. It's in the yearbook and everything. I will post pictures if asked. Toddy the Pig Boy. And that was his senior quote. So back to Marie and Pimp Wayans. We learn that Pimp Wayans isn't as bad and as pimpy as he portrayed himself, painting a beautiful tree on the wall of the nursery. Marie sort of half accuses him of stealing a necklace she can't find, but he reveals that he just took it out of her jewelry box and cleaned it and made it a lot nicer. And then there is this weird whole scene of, like, he's not as bad as he pimpingly appeared to be, and she kind of looks at him like, oh, Pimp Wayans, maybe you're actually better than my husband. And once again, I'm terrified, just fucking terrified, that this movie is going to spiral off in a direction that I desperately don't want it to. Because she kind of gives him the look of, like, maybe there's another way. Maybe you can be the father of my baby.
That's how that works.
Wayans Prime's been gone for 2 days. 2 days. Back at the hospital, Prime freaks out when he realizes he's pretty much had a kidney stolen from him. A nurse reveals that baby Wayans has jetted off to Havana with Prime's kidney. Some one sentence of explanation that's left my brain.
Okay.
Lady Wayans has stolen the car and left. So we're back to just Wayans Prime and Fat Wayans. So Wayans Prime is despondent. He calls Marae to update her on everything. She's pissed that he still isn't home. She berates him. She tells him he needs to get his shit together. Quote, the direct quote, he needs to get his shit together. She's pissed that he isn't here. She wanted him to find his family and to fill the void, but he's screwing everything up with the family he has right here. End quote. She yells at him to get home now. It's been 2 days. This was her idea. He has been gone for such a little bit amount of time. Fuck you, Michael Davies. There's no stakes. She's like, I just don't get it. I just don't understand. What? Just let him, just put the camera on, put him in 6 ridiculous outfits, and let him punch himself in the face for an hour and a half. I'd be more entertained.
It's not remotely like real life. It's almost like it's fake titties or something.
God damn. So anyway, we get where am I? God damn. We get fucking Wayans Prime and Fat Wayans who are like in the street in front of the hospital as Wayans Prime's trying to take an Uber. They have the emotional breakup scene because we've apparently reached the climax of this fucking movie. We get the Airbud scene where Wayans Prime tells Fat Wayans, get out of here, boy, I don't want to see you anymore. As Prime states this has all been a mistake, and even uses the lines, Russell, there is no us. Because it's just a bunch of fucking quotes slapped together into piece of shit Wayans vehicle.
Teddy knows how to write.
So they're having this emotional breakup scene in the middle of the street, and a bunch of Black Ops guys roll out of a van and kidnap them both, bundling them into hoods and into a van. You'll find out.
Mama?
So hold on. We cut to Mama's house, where Fat and Prime are tied to chairs. They're being interrogated by a mysterious figure in the shadows, who reveals himself to be the final sibling, Jasper. Jasper is a very light-skinned black man with a red afro.
Oh.
Because he got all the Irish in the family.
Oh. That's uncomfortable.
I'm just going to let this silence hang. It's going to get cut out, but I was silent there for, 5 seconds.
Also,
of just, what do you say? I mean, there's nothing to say.
What?
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, he's interrogating them. He's torturing them. He is kind of like, he has a lisp. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. But he's like he's kind of a loony. Like, he's sort of deranged and
really,
apparently
the red afro, full Irish, light black skin Wayans is a loony.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I know, right? Who could have fucking saw that coming? So he tortures them a little bit and informs them that he was abandoned like most of the siblings and didn't fit in. Mostly because of his red afro, like I said, 23rd Irish.
It doesn't have to be an afro. That's the thing about afros.
No, it is. That's how afros work. I don't know why you would know anything about it.
No, you can cut your hair.
No. Yeah, he cut it into an afro.
No. You can cut it short.
Is it me, audience? It's a red afro. I don't understand what the...
He does not need to have an afro. He's not cursed with an afro.
Am I fucking... Is the mic on? Hello? He has a red... Is afro short for something? Because I feel like it should be.
No, I don't know.
This is not helpful. So to make a long and complicated story short, Jasper is so smart that he was recruited by the government as like an information broker and spy. So henceforth, he shall be Secret Agent Wayans. Marie has been looking into finding him, as you may recall from the one throwaway scene they had about it, and it was sending up red flags to the government because legally he doesn't exist because he's so deep undercover because he's Secret Agent Wayans. So he is trying to torture the information out of them as to who they are and what they're trying to find. So nonsense. He doesn't believe that they're all related, even though he's also fucking Marlon Wayans. So they somehow end up talking about the Rockford files. Because it's got to come back too. So Secret Agent Wayans loves the Rockford files just like they do. And in a scene of Wayans' magnificence, the Wayans 3 all end up singing the theme song while Secret Agent Wayans is dancing around. And it's pretty good. I mean, it's probably the best part of this whole movie is he's, really getting in there and dancing. It's fine.
You just love dancing, don't you?
He's marloning it up to the highest degree in time to the music, which they're playing the music over the mouth tunes, and as you may remember, music slaps. So, you know what? You bring up an interesting point. I kind of think I do. I think I do love dancing. I think it's the thing I'm learning about myself over the last couple of years. I mean, I can't. I have no desire to learn how, but I can appreciate, like, a good dance. So, yeah, I guess that may have colored my view a little bit here. But, anyway, so, yeah, he's so overcome with joy at the Rockford files that Secret Agent Wayans lets them go. But because he's crazy, he immediately changes his mind and pulls a gun out on them. And he starts ranting about how never feeling the embrace of his mother has made him crazy. And because he's never gotten a hug in his life, he's going to blow out Wayans Prime's brains. Hopefully this universe works like comic books, and the death of Wayans Prime will cause the other 5 to vanish as well because the movie just becomes about, I don't know, soup or something. But
cereal. It becomes about cereal and thick milk.
Fuck you. As Jasper is about to kill them, the lights go on and... Mama Wayans appears. Mama Wayans is just Marlon Wayans dressed up like an old black woman.
Of course.
It's basically just the Lady Wayans costume with a different wig.
They're
pretty similar. Yeah, I mean, they got it. Here's a good question. You think Marlon Wayans got paid 6 actors' salaries?
You said Marlon's again.
Did I really?
Yes.
That was not intentional. Do you think Marlon Wayans got paid 6 actors' salaries?
I actually wonder the logistics of that.
I mean, because there's not... His wife is probably the actress who got the most screen time besides him. Because really no other... Like, the boss lady... Oh, you know what? She had a name. She was white and she had a name, come to think of it. I genuinely thought that Token White Friend was the only one who did, but I think she had a name. Yeah, there's really... That's it. It's like...
You should try to find out Wayne's salary for Naked and for this and see if they match. That might be a clue.
I wonder if that's like information I can find somewhere. I may actually look into it. That's interesting. So, anyway, the jig is up. Fat Wayans reveals that he lied to Prime about Mama's death. She's been stuck on a cruise ship during an E. coli outbreak, I guess. We get a touching, air quotes here, touching, reunion between Mama and the Wayward Wayans children. Wayward Wayans children. Mama's gimmick is that her hugs are weird, and she holds people's head between her titties during hugs. Not her Michael titties, her titties. Her titties, not tiddies. So Mama reunites with Secret Agent Wayans and Wayans Prime. She's the same stereotype as Lady Wayans, but just older. So again, I don't think Marlon Wayans has ever met a woman before. Did I say Marlon's?
I think that time you might have been okay. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm losing to 2, Larry.
We learned Secret Agent Wayans has a weird fetish about his mama spanking him.
Oh.
Why does Marlon Wayans keep getting work? I don't. Blah, blah, blah. Mama Wayans apologizes for leaving them in the lurch. By the way, the Black Ops guys, I guess, just fucking dematerialized because they're just gone.
Seriously.
So I don't care. Prime and Fat make up. Prime gets a call from Marie that the baby is sliding out of the old baby pipe, or whatever they call that thing. So he better get moving.
Yes.
Secret Agent Wayans throws Wayans Prime the keys to the car, which of course is a gold 76 Pontiac Firebird Esprit from the Rockford Files.
Do we get the theme again?
In a minute. If you recall, because I can't believe that these are the plot points that have stuck, Fat Wayans owns the only operating manual left in existence of that car and has read it several times.
Car breaks down.
No. This magically instills him with the power to drive.
Wait, what?
You
Why?
fucking idiot.
What?
I'm sorry, didn't you hear me? This instills him with the power to drive.
I can't.
You can, and
you
you
need
will.
an internal logic.
No.
If you're going to come back with your pants around your ankles...
I want that explained so bad. Someone else watch this and tell me why. Someone else throw yourself on your sword and tell me what the story is. So, so Fat Wayans takes the wheel. Thus begins a car chase as Fat Wayans ends up getting a line of police in their tail as he attempts to get Wayans Prime to the hospital as fast as he can. This chase theme is remixed with the Rockford Files theme song and is pretty cool, which is about the only thing I have to say about this movie so far that's been good. So Fat Wayans manages to drop Wayans Prime off at the hospital via a diving tuck and roll. I want to point out that Prime lands directly on his kidney wound, but seems fine.
Yeah, that's how that works.
So Prime stands there on a curb with his mouth agape like a fucking idiot and watches Fat Wayans escape for way too long, so the line of cops sees him jump out of the car and standing there and come to collect him. So Wayans Prime finally reunites with Marie and Pimp Wayans, who is also there, and of course they talk about how they resemble each other. The cops are prowling the ward looking for Wayans Prime, but Pimp Wayans sacrifices himself to the cops to repay Marie for her kindness. So Pimp Wayans takes the rap and gets brutally tackled by the police, and considering the things going on in this country right now, it's a distressingly familiar scene and made me feel very kinds of things that I'm very uncomfortable about. It's just not the time for this fucking movie, Isaac. God.
Well, we had the cruise ship, disease outbreak reference, too.
Yeah, I know. It's very strange, because this movie was made before these things were in the country's limelight.
Marlon's on the inside. Panama Papers. Epstein. I'm telling you. Twizzlers.
Our
thick
country
milk.
is broken.
It fits together.
Our country is broken. Black Lives Matter. So, the human seed produced by Marlon Wayans slides out of the vagina of his beautiful life partner and enters a world where not only one, but 7 Marlon Wayans exists. As such, it burrows into its own placenta and suffocates itself to be free of this torture.
Naturally.
As I am bereft of a handy placenta nearby, I soldier on. Cut to 3 months later, at a garden party celebrating the birth of little Wayans Prime Jr., they steal the joke from BoJack Horseman by having a long sign that says, "Congratulations, it's a girl, don't ask if we're having another because we don't know yet. I love BoJack Horseman, and I hate this." So, Lady Wayans, Fat Wayans, Pimp Wayans, Secret Agent Wayans, and Mama Wayans are all gathered around a table, Wayansing it up. I'm gonna choke myself to death. I'm not even being funny. This is an accurate summation of the events happening in this scene. We get the resolution to the brief father-in-law story where the tables are turned, and father-in-law must ask Wayans Prime for a favor, so that resolves that storylines. The favor, by the way, was to ensure that Lady Wayans does not beat the shit out of father-in-law. So, anyway, father-in-law is not impressed by this family, but is so terrified of them that I guess that whole plotline is resolved, and Wayans Prime is now a good member of the family?
That works. Sure. All done.
I don't know.
All better.
I guess that story resolved. Baby Wayans calls from Havana. We get the resolution to that story where they just, I guess, make up.
Yep.
If
the
you
statute
stole
of
my
limitations
kidney,
for kidney stealing is pretty quick.
If you steal my kidney, I'm coming for you. Just so we're clear. So token white friend calls for a family picture, and that's it. Movie ends.
Great. That sounded great. That sounded really good.
So there is this. There's the takeaway from this movie for me. I have come to respect Marlon Wayans in this. I'm not being funny. Like he will do anything for the laughs. Not good laughs, not cultured laughs, but he'll debase himself for his range. He has a good range. It's just it's like not an impressive range. No, I did that backwards. He has an impressive range. It's just not a good range. Like because Wayans Prime is very he's just a guy. He's just the white bread with nothing on it. Like, that's who he is. And, like, these other characters are ridiculous in their own, like, spokes of a wheel of nonsense, basically. So, he's mastered this niche. This niche just sucks. Like, the writing is shit. There's nothing to care about the whole movie. There's no stakes that matter. Like, him getting... If he didn't get to the birth, what, was she just gonna fucking divorce him? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, there's no point where I cared. Even if I, like, shut off the fact that I'm recording a comedy podcast and actually thought the movie was good, like, there'd be nothing for me to care about, really. So, but, and I don't know if you've noticed this, at no point did I say that there was something that made me laugh. Even in Naked, there was something that made me laugh. Even in Love, Wedding, Marriage, there was something that made me laugh. Like in Naked, him taking the ambulance to get to the wedding, like him figuring out the best way for me to get to this wedding is to throw myself in front of a car, take an ambulance, and jump out of the ambulance. Like, I liked that bit. That bit made me laugh. There was no part of Sextuplets, even though I wasn't as mad about it, it's like, there's nothing, I didn't find anything funny. There was nothing that was like, I even cracked a smile at. Like, there was nothing of the sort. It's just totally unmemorable, unfunny, and it's just a piece of junk. I got nothing. My review of Sextuplets, in summation, is one sentence. I like the Rockford Files theme song now.
So, are you saying Titties is off his A game?
What the fuck are you talking about? There is no A game. Like, it's just, there was nothing here. Like, Naked had more things that made me mad, but I smiled once, This was it didn't need to exist, and that's it. Yeah.
Well.
So, yeah.
Good Lord.
It's a real waste of time. I wasted your time, my time, and the audience's time. So, yeah, there we go.
God, that's true. Because we talked about last time we've now accomplished more in this lifetime than Osama bin Laden has, because we have over 4,000 listens.
Oh, good. That's going to be a running bit. Great.
But if each of our episodes are just ballpark, say, 90 minutes, that means we have cost the world 6,000 hours of productivity.
Wow. That's true.
You could have been
listening to... What?
I got to do the math. I got to figure out how many days that is.
You could have been listening to, like, All Things Considered or something of actual value, and
anything
you listened
productive.
To this. It's true.
You could have been spending time with your family, calling your elderly grandparents.
Visiting the grave of loved ones. Donating time or money.
250 days.
Wow.
Yep.
We've wasted almost a year of humanity's time. What a legacy.
We're gonna get to a year soon, I'm sure.
Let's see how much more we can wait.
Yeah, that's how we'll measure our success. We won't be like, we have this many followers on Twitter, or we have this many plays or whatever. It'd be like, we've wasted 5 centuries of human lifetime.
Oh man, yeah, that's true. Like when the aliens come to claim our history for the fucking their motherships after humanity's a pile of dust, which hopefully sooner rather than later, because boy, are we fucking it up lately. I just want them to be like, there's a tiny little blip here. Like, how much time did they fucking waste? Oh man.
I think our ultimate goal for this podcast should be a millennium. That's a long way to go.
I'm all for it, man. Let's
we're almost at a year, so we're like 1,000th of the way. Like, if we keep doing episodes, we get more and more popular. We got a chance. Mm-hmm. We can do a millennium.
No, man. I'm all for it. Yeah, I'd love to do that. That should be a running tally of how much time. Like, every couple episodes, we check. All right, how much more time have we wasted?
I have to actually break down and do like the whole math. I'll make a spreadsheet where I'll do like the running time for each episode, and then I can put the amount each episode was played, so we have an exact amount down to the second.
God, this one was I don't know. This one was unique. Like, I don't think there has been one yet where I haven't said like that made me laugh or that made me chuckle. Like this, nothing.
You usually find something.
Yeah, there was really it's just the Rockford Files song. That's it.
And it wasn't even, because like you said, it was put together, like, production value-wise, it was okay. It was fine.
Yeah, no,
it wasn't like Leo the Lion, where it was ridiculously bad or something.
Oh yeah,
like
that was just painful to look at.
Yeah,
like the bull was really bad, but everything else like looked fine. Like, and it's the makeup was great, and it like was done well enough that unless you're actively thinking about it, you do sometimes forget, like, oh, that's also Marlon Wayans, right? And I mean, I'll give him props. He did him, and once Fat Wayans is in the movie, Fat Wayans is in almost every scene with him at that point.
Yeah,
and like he did a lot of work for this movie. I mean, he was, the other siblings aren't as important to the plot as he and Fat Wayans are, but he just did that. I mean, that alone is enough. That's a lot of acting. So he definitely worked hard. Again, like I'll give him credit. I've come to respect him that he's not a talentless hack. Now, Michael Titties, he is a talentless hack. But although Marlon Wayans did write this, so I don't know that I think much of his writing ability, but his acting ability, I'll give him credit. He's got something.
Well, I'm sure you'll be seeing him again sometime soon, Larry.
I hate you. I've always hated you. You're gonna die alone, and I'm gonna be there.
Oh boy. That wait, what?
I didn't say anything. It's just the audio glitch. Audio glitch.
I won't be alone if you're there.
Well, you won't know I'll be there.
You just told me.
I'm gonna start with the eyes. Fill them with thick milk.
Oh God! So you're just gonna come on my face?
I don't know, man. I haven't thought it through. All I know is that whenever you're death, my cum's gonna be involved. Okay, well now now we can't release this.
All right, here's an idea.
Mom, I'm sorry for everything.
Use a Twizzler to get cornstarch in your dick hole, and then come, and then you'll really have thick milk.
I'm gonna vomit.
I wonder, yeah, if you had a whole dick hole filled with cornstarch and then came, like,
if you listen to the show, please email in and answer me why. Why would you listen to
would it
any
mix
of this
and come out like cottage cheese, or would the dust poof out first, followed by the spurts of jizz?
I'm going at a comment. I'm trying to not concentrate on what you're saying, so I don't actually vomit. But I just want to. I want the sound of coming just with it's just dust to be. I want a penis to make that sound when there's nothing comes out.
We're getting older, Larry. It's coming.
Well, maybe not. Can we please stop making cum jokes?
I think we've about exhausted the supply in the balls.
Yep.
That's
Do your end of the show things, goddamn you. Stop talking about cum.
Well, coming up next week, we have, what, Zoom? Is it called
Tim
Zoom?
Allen, baby.
What is it? Zoom?
Zoom, yeah.
Zoom. Tim Allen.
Tim Allen.
He was the Santa Claus that molested me.
I'm getting a text from Tim Allen's lawyer?
He needs a kidney?
The lawyer or Tim Allen?
They'll share. I don't know.
I'll donate to one, but not the other. Ooh, you decide.
Ooh, yes. Please write in. Who to save, Tim Allen or his lawyer?
It's fucking just not funny. Just a not unfunny fat piece of shit.
Oh, I think we've had a little too much Wayans for tonight. Oh, Lord. But yeah, stay tuned for next week. We will be covering Zoom. Make sure to reach out to us on
I'm not
social
covering
media,
shit.
Facebook.
I saw 10 seconds of that movie. It's up to you, you fucking asshole.
It's so bad. Oh, God. But yeah, say hi on email, balsandnetflix@gmail.com. Let us know what you think, if you've seen any of these movies, if you have any suggestions. If you just want to tell us how much you hate us, or if you've ever stuck a Twizzler in your dick hole and want to commiserate over it.
I just don't even... We need to have a fucking company meeting about the direction this podcast is going.
Yeah, we need Twizzler to sponsor us.
Drink Twizzlers. It's good in your mouth. That's their slogan, right? It is now. That was a freebie. Twizzlers.
Eat Twizzlers with your dong.
You are just committed to making this image in my head. It's just not going to happen.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking about lamps.
Good luck when you're trying to go to sleep tonight. I know what you'll be thinking about.
God damn it, you're probably right.
Yep, especially now. Oh boy. We have to add in all the extra hours that audience is going to be thinking about Twizzlers and dickholes. That's time that counts.
I hope it's 0. I hope for the sake of our world, it's 0.
It'll be more than 0.
Oh, man. Well,
all right. Well,
I'm excited for you to suffer next week. Boy,
yeah,
this is my first episode. We did last week's episode. We did a welcome back, and we did last week's where it was you reviewing. This is my first time reviewing in like a year and a half, so if the quality wasn't there, I apologize. It'll get back,
you worry too much.
Once again, it's been a fucking... I'm restarting the show with goddamn Wayans.
I blame titties.
Yeah, I blame everybody. I blame you.
We're both misogynists. Everyone knows we blame titties for everything.
Well, titties are the cause and solution of most of my problems.
Goddamn apple-eating whores. They drove us out of the garden.
Oh my god. Fucking getting biblical.
Oh yeah, I'm born again now. Did I not tell you?
Ugh.
Hence the Twizzler thing. That's a Christian thing, apparently. I didn't know it.
You know, it's amazing because I was technically a Christian for most of my life, and it never came up.
Oh, well, you must have been in the wrong sect.
How silly of me.
Yeah, we're the Pentecostal Church of Twizzlers.
Well, there's a t-shirt. Just a fucking Twizzler going into a sausage. Why does anyone listen to this?
I don't know.
Write in and tell me what compels you to waste your time on this garbage.
Well, and help get us to a millennium. Keep listening over and over again.
Thank you for
That's
listening.
the goal. That's when we can shuffle off this mortar coil when we've wasted
Oh god, I'm so ready.
Well, get us there faster. Keep listening. Tell your friends, and
yeah.
That's been the Bells of Netflix. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Smell you later.